It's 2014. Hey, look, we're on video. Wave, Keith. Hi, it's the Science Fiction Show with your pals, Jason and Keith, talking to you, as you can see, from the glorious basement studio of Science Fiction Show Europe South. And Keith, of course, right there talking to you from Science Fiction Show Studio North. Keith, Happy New Year. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just glad to be back. Finally getting the show in 2014, big year, lots of great sci-fi stuff coming up.
That's right. It is going to be a big year. And we have a few things to talk about. This will be a little bit shorter show than usual. As you can see, one of the video screens that's not around us is Michael Wistock. He unfortunately could not be with us for our first show of the year, but we'll catch up with him as soon as we're able. It's just not the same show without Michael J. And I know he has been, Keith, chomping at the bit to do this little video thing with us. And he's going to be a little mad that he wasn't able to be here, but he's just tied up with some things. We understand that completely. He's got some things going on. We will catch him at the start of the year. Well, this is with our new video look and our video show. There's just so much going on, Keith, between like Star Wars and the Oscars coming up and this new Riddick film. I mean, just Ghost in the Shell. It's actually been, this is usually a dead time for sci-fi type stuff, but this has been, I mean, there's a lot going on right now.
You know, there's a lot going on right now that's upcoming. There's a lot of stuff that's coming out that is, I mean, just weeks away.
Right.
And there's some awesome projects that are coming on later in the year. I've got a lot of questions when we get guys like Paul Salmon and Shannon John Shea back on,
right,
and Charlie Adlard back on,
yep,
to feel what their opinions are. I mean, because it seems like we've ridden this wave for a while of a lot of sci-fi stuff, and it should be on. If you go by history, it should be on the downswing. It should be getting ready to go drop, and all we get is a bunch of sports films for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I know.
But we've just continued riding this wave, and bad sports films at that.
Right.
We've been continued riding this wave, and for sci-fi fans and comic book fans, even horror fans, there's a lot more coming. And if I had the entire list typed out on my screen right now of movies that are coming up in 2014 that are in any way related to sci-fi, we could talk, just by naming each one of them, would be on the air for another hour and a half.
So you've got Keith and I for about another 20 minutes or so. We'll talk. I guess that we should lead off first is for 2014. You know, me, Keith, and Michael Keith and I had a bit of a powwow and wanted to figure out if this is something we were going to do for the rest of the year. And we were absolutely enthusiastic about this. We've been off the air since about the middle of December and trying to kind of get our own lives sorted out, figure out where we were with the show. And I think it's, you know, we're in the right place with this. We want to continue to bring a podcast. I think at the end of the year last year, Keith, we were probably trying a little too hard. And just trying to be too much of something. And fortunately, I think we came to our senses and realized that, you know, we're just a podcast, three guys who like to talk about science fiction, but we also came to the realization we've had some great guests on the show, Paul Salmon, Steve Rude, among others, and Charlie Adlard, who's, you know, we're excited to say that he's probably going to be back on the show as well as some others. And going forward this year, it's going to be a pretty exciting year. So I'm definitely excited about what we have for those of us who stuck with us, our 725 or so on the Facebook page, another 500 or so on Twitter, and then of course, the 6 listeners who were here from the beginning. And we're just happy that they are still with us. And now they can see us. Hi again. They can see us if this video works. If not, you'll be listening to a very sort of us doing things on video, audio, once again, the same audio show, but no matter what. But I think it's going to be a great year, Keith.
No, it is. And you brought a key point up. We talked to some great people this year. And we're not talking just little small names. You know, Charlie Adler, by no means a small name. But, you know, female favorite, Norman Reedus, on our show.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we've done that. And maybe we were trying a little bit too hard, but maybe we were trying a little bit too hard. It wasn't necessarily for us, I don't think.
Right.
I think it's because the people that do listen give us such great feedback on so many different things. And
yes,
even some negative feedback that we needed to hear occasionally.
Yeah.
That we felt we owed it to them to make that effort. And we're not saying we're not going to make the effort this year. We're just saying that we're not going to try to be more than what we are. We're just going to be try and do what we do better.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's kind of our commitment to get through 2014. We'll probably put together about 35 or 40 different shows, maybe more if we can keep the whole band together. We'll be bringing back Austin May again. That's Keith puffing on his e-cigarette if you're catching the video. We'll be, of course, bringing back Austin May as a co-host. We'll be bringing in our friend Michael Fedor as a co-host, and we're hoping to have a few other co-hosts with us to be part of the show. But that said, let's get on with it. Let's get started into the content. And I think I want to lead off with Keith. Something really interesting to me, which is EVE Online, which I've tried to get into, but it really just wasn't my cup of tea. And it's an really interesting video game. You know, you build these starships. You have to do the mining. You have to transport. You have to pay for everything. It's very much a game about commerce, I think, more than it is about just being the captain of a starship. And I have a friend who lives in Korea. He'll go unnamed because he doesn't like to be spread around the internet. But good friend of mine, and he is an EVE junkie. And I tried EVE out for a while. It wasn't my thing. But he's an EVE junkie. So when I found out that they had this giant war on EVE like you did, it intrigued me because we never really heard about this kind of stuff when like EverQuest would go on because it wasn't that sort of universe. But here was a war. And Keith, I think you said the number right before we went on. What was it? $200,000? Is that what the value was?
200,000 destroyed, and I think I can't remember what the biggest ship was. It was 5,500 actual dollars.
Yeah, I was going to say it was around $500 to $700 or $7,000. Yeah, absolutely. So if you're not familiar with EVE, you have to understand that essentially you start out, you buy a small ship, and then you go take jobs like running ore or some other kind of commerce things. And Keith, you do this throughout, then you upgrade to a bigger ship and a bigger ship and a bigger ship. And it's, a lot like business. You have a small business and you make that business bigger. You need the infrastructure. So there was a video. I don't know did you see the video? Maybe what I'll do is I'll cut it in here while we're talking and I'll cut in some of the video. But there was a video of the battle online. It was about a minute and a half. So we'll cut in a few seconds of that here if I can find that. But it looked like all the ships were kind of in place. And then there was like these shields around and they were firing on each other. And Michael's son, Chris Wistock, I believe I don't know if he was part of the battle or he observed it. Maybe we can catch him on the next show just to kind of follow up on this. But he saw this too. But yeah, the real news hook here though was $200,000 lost. Because EVE, I think, costs about $15 or $21 a month, right, Keith?
Yeah.
It's run out of servers on Iceland. Maybe it's one of the things that's keeping Iceland afloat. You never know. But interesting. Again, I don't know if you have it. Do you have any friends who play EVE at all?
Well, I tried it once. I have a couple of folks that play it. They watched the battle or have talked about the battle. I don't know if they actually saw it firsthand or just video of it afterwards.
Yeah.
But they're all kind of securing their assets as best they can because you know what started the whole thing?
Mm-mm.
Somebody missed a bill payment, which left open space.
That's right. Yeah, they missed. They didn't pay their bill on a space station or something like that, right?
Right. Yep,
yes.
The space station, and they left. So then these other alliances moved in because if they could claim that territory, then it's theirs. So there was 2,200 of gamers initially that moved in here.
I remember now. That's right.
Actually, it's more than 2,200. They don't have an accurate number.
Right.
The cost within the gameplay was 222 billion ISK, which is for the one ship, $5,500.
Yep.
So you imagine you're talking. This is a game of commerce, and when you're talking into the billions of dollars worth in commerce, there's a lot to give up there by losing one Titan. And some of these guys that are on here now, granted, some of them are alliances and teams, and they pool their money.
Yeah.
But some of these folks are independents that run alliances and have 10 Titans of their own at 222 billion. So if one Titan at that cost of 5,500, so let's say they have one that's not worth quite that.
Yeah.
If they have 10 of them, even at $2,000, it's a lot of money invested in online gaming.
No, it's and that's what I mean. I couldn't recall a similar sort of like when EverQuest was really big. I don't know if we still have audience members who played EverQuest or another MMORPG where you had this sort of societal, hey, this happened on EVE Online, because I think it just has that kind of universe. It has that sort of playability where you could have that many things happen on one server. And it was quite interesting. I mean, I'm not an EVE Online player because I think it's more about business and commerce than it is about spaceships and science fiction. But
well, that's pretty much why I quit playing when I realized that this could cost me a lot of money that I don't have time to maintain, and when I was still in the military. So if all of a sudden I had to deploy, who's going to manage my account for 30 to
yeah, and it's a big part of that. And just for those of you playing along at home, Michael just messaged us and said he's still on a business trip, doing some things. And again, we'll catch up with him. We're sorry we're missing him today, but let's catch up on a few things that Michael put up on his timeline this week. It looks like Mission Impossible 5 will come out around Christmas time. Were you a Mission Impossible fan at all? I really enjoyed the first film. I was kind of hot or cold on the sequels.
The first one I enjoyed. The sequels are, I'm up at 2:00 in the morning, don't have anything to watch, and I'll throw them on. I may have the DVDs, but haven't watched them. I don't even know if I've watched them all once.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see what a new Jack Reacher sequel. We know Mike is a big fan of that one, and I wasn't that big on it. Did you see it? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah. I'll probably go back and watch it again, but
it's one of those ones where I think I needed to give it more attention, and maybe I didn't give it the attention I needed to after because I know quite a few friends that really were really excited about it and think it was wonderful.
Yeah.
So I question whether I gave it the 100% attention I needed.
Yep.
But on the other hand, most movies that I need to give 100% attention to catch me right away, and I do it.
You're exactly right. Probably of news to most of our listeners, and I guess now our viewers, there's a new Thor that's got green-lighted. So excellent news on another Thor movie. The executive producer from Thor will make a full-time transition to screenwriting, and he'll write with longtime collaborator Christopher Yost. So that was something else Michael threw up on there. And then, of course, like he did throw up a lot of stuff yesterday, but and then, of course, Captain America Winter Soldier debuting on April 14th. So I think we've covered that. But then the other news, Keith, that came around was Vin Diesel, who actually owns the movie rights to Riddick, and this is kind of his investment now, is announcing a fourth Riddick movie that's coming out. That's actually good news. A lot of people really like this series. I've become a bigger fan of it, even though these movies did panned a lot. I've become kind of a big fan of these films.
Bring it. I've been a fan. I've been a fan of Riddick from the first one.
Yeah.
The second one did not thrill me as much, and it's not because it wasn't a good movie. It's because it didn't do what the first one did for me.
Yeah.
But the last one was right back to that. It's about Riddick and not about all these other people.
Yep.
And hey, bring it and keep on bringing it, Vin Diesel, until I tell you to stop.
By the way, I did that little rant at the end of the year about The Hobbit. Remember when I did that little rant about The Hobbit as we lose Keith to go find his pen? And I was pretty upset about the dragon. Remember that? I just I feel like I should apologize to our listener viewers now because I was emotional. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I still agree with it.
I don't disagree with it, but I just want to let people know I was a little emotional about it. I was very passionate about it. So I felt like I should come on and tell people that that's not normal behavior for me, but I really love The Hobbit, and it got me all gooey inside.
And it probably wasn't your best week at work either, so.
Yeah. But anyway, so I thought I would, but when we talk about Oscars a little bit, we'll talk more about The Hobbit and talk about that. Now, one of the things there are a lot of new films coming out in 2014, and I remember when we were kind of going over the science fiction lineup once or twice, Keith, and I don't know that I was really thrilled with the lineup that I'm seeing this year. Now I know there's a number of sort of properties in between that I'm not too. I mean, I'm okay with. Like the Captain America film intrigues me because we're not just leaning on World War II trope anymore. We're kind of bringing him into the fold. He's still doing the fish out of water bit. Looks like we get more Scarlett Johansson. Never a bad thing. So you wanted to talk a little bit about this. What are some of the ones that you're looking at that are kind of on your watch? And he's moving his lips, but we can't hear him. I think we've lost his audio. There it goes. I think he's back.
Got me?
There we go.
Got me?
There, now he's back. All right. So that
right,
was
so-
an interesting ventriloquism, though. All right. So some of your favorite movies coming out this year. What do you got?
Some of them are a long time. I mean, it won't be a surprise when I mention the one I'm looking forward to the most is Godzilla.
Oh yeah,
And I'm a huge Godzilla fan, a huge kaiju fan, which ties into another project I can't wait for this year. Mm-hmm. But I'm a huge kaiju fan. Pacific Rim was my favorite movie of last year.
Yeah.
And but I am really looking forward to Godzilla. I've been invested in Godzilla since I was a kid. It was the
right.
movie that turned me on to science fiction.
Right.
So extremely excited to come see this. Of course, I may be extremely disappointed when we do our end of the year.
Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta hope that they do Godzilla right this time, because the Matthew Broderick Godzilla was awful.
Sucked.
And you just have to wonder. Obviously, I think they saw what Pacific Rim could do in terms of box office. And again, Pacific Rim was not the most solidly constructed story, and it did have some holes in it, but it was entertaining as hell. It was just a lot of fun to kind of sit through and just digest this. And yeah, you could pick it apart, but whatever. I'm a picker-aparter, but I really still liked. I really like that film. So I hope they do Godzilla right.
I could pick apart Pacific Rim all over the place. I just didn't want to, because I just had fun watching it. I really did.
Yeah.
The other movie I'm looking forward to, well, shouldn't say the other. There's quite a few. I got 100 on this page of movies that are coming out. But, and this, and I'm going to say this, I'm a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan. And so I'm looking forward to this. Now, I have my fears that they're going to screw it up, but this is something I've wanted to see come to screen since they started doing good superhero movies.
Right.
Once they started doing good ones, that was it. The third thing I'm really excited is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. The trailers I've seen so far,
it does look really good.
Blown me out of the water.
Yeah, it does look really good. I'm excited about this live-action Ghost in the Shell project. I've been a fan of this film since Jump Street, and it's just, this is a phenomenal property. The characters I really love. The anime was beautiful, so I'm hoping they can kind of knock this one out of the yard. Even if they did it in a style of like Appleseed Ex Machina, which was done with CG, just this remarkable CG production. That's a movie that I try to watch like once a month, just because it's so stylish and the CG. But I mean, if this is going to be live action, that's also going to be a lot of fun too, don't you think?
No, it's going to be great. And I'll have to let you know that there is a plan for another certain anime to come out in live action by a small company, and it's about a pirate guy. I don't know.
Anyway, Captain Harlock. Touching my heartstrings. Yeah, Keith and I. What was it, like 3 months ago? He's like, we've got to... Oh, no. Did I tell you I watched the live-action Captain Harlock film? A friend of mine lent it to me.
Yeah.
It was badass. I really enjoyed it.
Yep. It was good.
It was very good, and I'm looking forward to whatever they do with Captain Harlock, because that's one of those characters that's been in part of my childhood and now my adulthood, and I think it's one of those that transcends time. It's like no, I'm sorry, I didn't see Captain Harlock. That's not what it was. I meant Starship Yamamoto. Or Yamoto, I'm sorry. That was, and they had the gun on the. Oh, that was awesome. But the Harlock character, I think, transcends time. It's got the skull and crossbones, so that'll be really.
I think the company's looking at doing that, and I think it was 2015, 2016, but that's not 2014.
Yeah.
No, but there's I don't know what else you're really looking forward to. There's one I do want to mention, and I'm looking forward to this, and most people haven't heard of it. It's Harbinger Down. Alec Gillis, who's done numerous films, special effects wise, Predator, Aliens, AVP. He did Castaway, Hollow Man. He actually was on Ender's Game. He did parts of Ender's Game, but they're trying to prove you can still do high quality practical effects sci-fi flick without any CGI.
Yep.
In a science fiction genre, and it reminds me of The Thing a lot, but I'm really looking forward to this, and some folks I know worked on it, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
There's Jason exercising.
Well, you got this video. You got to do something every once in a while to make people keep watching you. So, booty. Okay, so we're talking about films that I'm probably looking forward to. Of course, the ones we mentioned are without a doubt Of course, I know Michael said he was looking forward to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I think that was one that was on his list. I'd have to put Interstellar probably up there just because it's Christopher Nolan. And, maybe the last Batman film, but I don't think Christopher Nolan's capable of making a bad movie. He's meticulous. He's meticulous in that way that James Cameron's meticulous. He's really got a gift for making good films. Michael, again, just trying to proxy in for him, Edge of Tomorrow. But Michael has fallen in love with Tom Cruise lately, don't you think? I mean, it's just become, it's a bromance if there ever was one.
Okay, before I go there, I'm looking forward to Edge of Tomorrow, but not because of Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it looks like a good sci-fi flick.
No, he has. Hold on a second. Let me put a plug in for Michael.
All right.
There will be no movies this year in 2014 unless they redo Oblivion again and again and again.
By the way, if you're not at home, if you're not at home, what does that mean? For those of you listener viewers, we do have a semi-regular comic strip that we're also doing. You could find with Air Force Times cartoonist Austin May, and the first one was done just before Christmas. It's a little tribute to Michael and his Oblivion love, so you might want to check that out on our Facebook page. We haven't taken that bad boy down. Resident Evil 6, we got another one of those coming out. It seems like that's like Christmas now. You just get a new Resident Evil film once every, here comes Santa Claus. Hey, it must be a new Resident Evil film coming. Yay! The Zero Theorem. I'm so happy. Terry Gilliam, of course, of 12 Monkeys, of Brazil, has got a new film out. Zero Theorem just looks amazing. I saw the trailer for this about 2 nights ago. I am fully on board. Legend of Conan, not so much, but I think that might intrigue some folks. But have you seen, I posted the Red Band trailer for A Million Ways to Die in the West. Did you watch it?
No, I missed that one.
I think it could be the next Blazing Saddles if he pulls it off right. So I'm really excited about that. It could be
now I'm going to have to go
very,
watch the trailer.
very, very funny. It just looks like it could be very, very cool. And then there's a litany of other films that are due out in 2014. We don't got to go over them all. I think we've kind of hit the highlights here. So,
there was one we discussed previously, though.
Yeah.
I, Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, this is already getting panned though. This is already swirling around the toilet. This cannot be a good thing. So, I don't know.
And of course, you got X-Men, Transformers, and Spider-Man.
Right.
Which, as much as those franchises I grew up with and loved, I'm not looking forward. I'm not excited about any of those three coming back. A couple of other movies I just mentioned because I don't know, we'll have to track these, but it's Jupiter Ascending.
Jupiter Ascending looks interesting. Yeah, I think that's a little independent film, right?
Yeah, Divergent and Transcendence.
Yep.
But you mentioned Interstellar. We heard a lot of hype last year about TMN. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, they debuted. The
kinda,
costumes have been appearing or something, right, on all over the place.
Yeah. But again, so far nothing's made me excited to see that. I'd rather go back and watch
Michael
the
Bay,
old
though. He always draws a crowd. So, and by the way, just for those of you who are viewing, Keith's picture is over here on my second monitor. So that's what I'm looking over here. I'm looking at Keith's mug because interpersonal. All right, so we transitioned from what we look forward to what's been, and the 86th Academy Awards nominees. I wasn't bowled over by any of these, but I really wanted to just mostly focus on the science fiction parts of the Academy Awards. Of course, Gravity is nominated for Best Picture. The director, Alphonse Cuarón, I believe is, how bad I am on name. Alfonso Cuarón is nominated for Best Director. And in an actress role, Sandra Bullock is nominated for Gravity. I thought that was an interesting choice there. So not much else. Cinematography for Gravity, Keith. Let's see. Just going over the list, which is boring the hell out of our listener viewers. But this is because I haven't had a lot of show prep. All right, let's skip this song. Best original score for Gravity. Alrighty. I really like some
of the music, so that.
I really like this song Happy from Despicable Me 2. That's got nothing to do with our show, but I just really dig that song.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a fantastic... I think Pharrell is probably the best thing going right now in terms of popular songwriting. That guy is just incredible. Gravity and The Hobbit for sound editing. Sound mixing, also Gravity and The Hobbit. And of course, under Best Visual Effects, The Hobbit and Iron Man 3. So that ties into my Hobbit rant a little bit. And of course, we're not going over any of the specialty categories or anything like that, but there's probably a litany of nominated. How real a chance do you think that Gravity's got at... I mean, it was spectacular visually, but do you think it's Oscar quality compared to some of these other films like, say... Dallas Buyers Club, you have Matthew McConaughey, who's just become a brilliant actor over the last 5 years. Wolf of Wall Street's nominated. I haven't seen it. I think I'm going to go see it this Sunday. Captain Phillips, I'm not sure that's Oscar quality. And American Hustle, which a lot of people are saying is going to sneak in, which a lot of people also say is not the... Wolf of Wall Street is kind of bang, 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 bang. And American Hustle, as they say, Keith, is kind of slow and drawn out. What's your feeling about Gravity, though, as an Oscar?
They could pick up one or two. I just think one of the big things that happens with the Oscars is the second you throw something like sci-fi or fantasy in front of it, it automatically... The Academy automatically goes, oh, it's one of those type movies. It's not a serious movie.
That's so true.
It's not a serious movie like a Gene Wilder or they kind of shove it off to the side a lot. Not saying that no one in sci-fi has ever got an Oscar.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been those. But
it's just rare.
It kind of goes to the side. But I do think there's some things that if they honestly, seriously look at it from a filmmaking perspective, Gravity should take some awards on.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a sci-fi film. I mean, I suppose it is, but it's got some juice. It's got George Clooney, who's kind of an Oscar favorite. Sandy Bullock is kind of an Oscar favorite, so it's got some things going for it.
But the second you even associate something with sci-fi or fantasy,
Off topic, the film I'm really looking forward to is this Monuments Men film. I think that's going to be a great flick. The John Goodman, George Clooney, Damon, Bill Murray,
lots of people.
Plus a really interesting plot. So I mean, it's a little off topic, but all right. So that said, we need to kind of wrap this up. As again, we've got a limited amount of show. We'll get you back to a full hour once we get Michael back in the saddle. But let's do a little mandatory segment on Star Wars 2014 before we get into some of the Kickstarter things. So we're going to try to keep you in the loop on the movie as much as we are. What do we know now? Right at this point, we've got Hamill, Fisher, and Ford confirmed. Yeah, that was one of the last bulletins. J.J. Abrams saying the script is done and it looks like shooting could begin at any time. Looks like one of the Breaking Bad actors who looks a bit like he has like an android under his face. Very sort of square features. I don't remember the kid's name. Somebody will correct us and let us know the name. He's up for a role. There was another guy who was up for a role, and when I saw the guy, I was like, why is he up for a role?
And when you wake up tomorrow morning, you'll ask the question about the next guy that's up for a role.
I know. So that's our Star Wars update for this show, which is lacking. We're hoping to have our friend Steve Sansweet, of course, who is the head of the world record Rancho Obi-Wan, all the wonderful things they do for charitable work, plus all the fantastic Star Wars collection, the world record-breaking Star Wars collection. Michael's going to deliver him to us sometime soon. We'll figure out when that is. But Keith, let's close this out with some of your Kickstarter choices. You talked about. I know you were pimping a number of things this week. So what's kind of on the science fiction show's radar at this point?
I don't want to just go Kickstarters. It's indies and crowdfunders.
Right.
One of the first off, 2014 World War Kaiju comes out.
Yep.
I mean, the World War Kaiju team was on this show, and I wasn't
several
there
times
to interview
actually.
them.
Yeah.
Desperately wanted to. It's just one of those weeks where it had to be Michael and Jason, and not me.
Yep.
I am so looking forward to this graphic novel coming out, and I'm so looking forward to getting all the little perks that I threw money for. The rest of the stuff I've either backed or I've been helping in a way. Sand in the Rain is a book coming out. Should be coming out next month.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to Sand in the Rain. I've worked with the folks that have put this together.
Yep.
They have been absolutely fantastic. And then Jason, I should have tuned you into this. Didn't even think about it when I had the opportunity. Metal Made Flesh illustrated novella. It's 3 stories. It looks a bit like, and this is going to kill you. It looks like some of the stories look like it's a Blade Runner story. The rest look like it's Ghost in the Shell.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean,
I am all for that.
I'm hoping it comes out like that because I will be having multiple copies coming in my direction.
Yeah.
Great short story, Mobius short film about the perils of time.
Right.
We may or may not have our photos in the hallway of part of that storyline. We'll just see how that turns out.
Yep.
Tinker Steampunk web series, fantastic group of people that are coming out. They've just signed on some actual names from like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and things like that. It's going to be a great show. Bobby Ray Akers is coming out with Frosty Expanded Universe.
That's one we talked about before. That looks really good too.
Yeah, it was. It's Frosty was the night before the apocalypse has already come out. So Frosty and his friends are going to have another alien invasion. Which
nice.
It's a crazy premise, but it's totally exciting and fantastic.
Cool.
And the artwork is brilliant. Mm-hmm. I've had some sneak peeks at the artwork, Jason, and some of this stuff is just. You're going to want to see it. And you're going to want to try and duplicate some of this stuff with your in the way.
I'm just excited. There's a new render engine out for Poser 2014. I'm excited to get that back up. I'm excited if you can see what side am I on? If you can see behind me, my guitar is ready to be. I just got to buff it out a little bit. I'm excited to get that little project finished. I'm excited about a lot of things. I'm excited mostly that we are back in 2014 and we are off and running this year. But so before we wrap up the show here, we'll start the year by, as we always do, thanking some folks. First, we'll thank Aaron Kusterer, who gave us our theme song about a year and a half ago. He continues to make some wonderful strides in his work. We hope you'll go visit him at www.aaronkusterer.com. Buy as much of his music as you can humanly pack onto your digital player or whatever it might be, and do that and as quickly as you possibly can. We want to thank all of the supporters and the folks who've friended us on Facebook and Twitter and continue to do so, even though we haven't had a show in almost a month. We hope this interlude into video is something we can do regularly based on our connections, which are spotty at times, at least in a couple of ways. But this is kind of the direction we want to go. Now you can load us up on your iPhone and watch us for 30 minutes or so or a bit longer and get into that or listen to the show, whatever you want to do. Who else should we thank, Keith? Who else? Our wives, of course.
Run down the entire list.
Yeah, let's thank our wives for allowing us to do this this show for an hour a night and giving us a little free space.
Especially tonight.
And many others. Again, we're really looking forward to the year, and we hope you'll be on board with us this year. We feel like this is going to be a great year for us, kind of a make or break year for us, really, and we hope you'll be in the make category with us. Did I miss anything? You got anything else you want to say? Any last words?
I'm really excited to be back, and you know, I think you hit it, Jason. We've got so many great people here, and I think the only reason why we're back is because of all the great people we've met via the show, and the people that give us a little hell when we're late on the show.
That's right,
and give us a little correction when we make mistakes on the show.
That's right.
I think those are the people we're back for. Would we love to be the most popular podcast in the world? Well, yes, we would. We'd love you to do that for us.
We'd love to be the most popular something. But we mostly like when you listen. So tell a friend. Let them know about our sort of new format. If we can, we'll be jiggering this a little bit over the next few weeks to make sure we can do it right and make sure we've got the right software. But this is the first iteration of that, and hopefully what you see in the end will be something you can tolerate for the amount of time. We got to run. Thanks a lot, Keith and Michael. We'll catch up with you as soon as possible. Thanks for listening to Science Fictional. We'll talk to you next time.
Later.
Peace.
Kowakian monkey lizard tacos.
Take a bite out of crime.
Tell us how you cut 'em.
Thank you for listening to The Science Fiction Show. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes or tell a friend to subscribe today. See you next week.